St. Mary's. Wait, what? Picks up a surprising road win over Colorado State, everybody's darling. 64-61 was the final here. This game was ugly at times. It definitely had the viewing experience of a 64-61 game. Nobody shot the ball particularly well. Isaiah Stevens, I thought, was the best player on the floor. Even he struggled. He had 6 turnovers to just 3 assists in this game. I don't know what to make of St. Mary's anymore. I feel like the times that they've played opponents that I feel confident are good teams, they've looked pretty good. And then they've just laid some giant eggs against lesser opponents or teams I have more questions about. Let's just keep it broad to start, Connor. Is St. Mary's a good basketball team?
I think St. Mary's has a good basketball coach.
Ooh, I like that.
I still have questions about their consistency throughout the season. Like St. Mary's, losing to St. Mary's in anything other than a true road game, probably will not end up being a good loss. It'll probably end up being a quadrant 2, quadrant 3 loss, depending on where they finish the season. Because I think they do. They end up losing to a couple teams in the WCC other than Gonzaga that you don't want them to lose, and they've already lost to teams that you wouldn't like seeing them lose to, and their metrics don't look good. I think the bright light in this game, and we talked about it in the preview, is Marshallonis and Joshua Jefferson shot 4 of 9 collectively as a duo when we were talking about them coming into this game as being terrible 3-point shooters this season so far. Mm-hmm. So both of them looked good in this game. And I know, Joshua Jefferson has the size advantage in a game like this against Colorado State. Obviously, Mitchell Saxon did as well. But their ability to find their 3-point shot in this game, I think, can bode well for St. Mary's going forward, because it allows St. Mary's to spread the ball a little bit more. It allows Aiden Mahaney to have a little bit more space to do his thing. And we saw him make some big shots in that game where Colorado State wasn't able to play a lot of help defense because St. Mary's was making shots.
Right. Yeah, it was nice to see the supporting cast step up after we essentially called them out in the preview. I think, I don't know, man. It was one of those games like when Marshallonis makes a shot, it's a Tom Izzo-ism, but he always says like weird guys made shots. That's how I feel every time Marshallonis makes a shot from outside. Jefferson, I think, can actually shoot a little bit. Like he shot 33% on limited attempts last year, but like at least with him, I feel like his jumper should go in more than it does. I don't know how to explain that, but yeah, for those two to combine to go 4 for 9, that mattered for sure in this game. Mahaney 2 for 11 from the floor. Like you said, he hit some big ones. He got to the line. He was 5 for 6, but 10 points in total, 3 turnovers. I kind of thought this was like a D plus game from Mahaney, which for me, if I'm Colorado State looking back on this, knowing Mahaney struggled to score from the field the way that he normally can, I'm kicking myself, and it just adds an extra element of bitterness that we weren't able to overcome this and get this win. How much do you think that's a missed opportunity for Colorado State?
Yeah, I mean, you hold St. Mary's to 64 points. You're a top 15 offense in the country as Colorado State, and you lose that game, giving up only 64 points. And you can blame the fact that they didn't have the depth because they had the 2 pieces on the bench, but those 2 pieces are better defenders than they are offensive options. Mm-hmm. Colorado State's offense struggled. It looked bad. And, I think a lot of that had to do with, St. Mary's defense in this game. Once they started seeing the shots go down as an offense, I know that I think it was started like an 8-0 run for Colorado State or something like that. But once St. Mary's started seeing the shots go down, I feel like their defense was better. Like they played with more confidence in this game than they have the past, month and a half.
Mm-hmm. 100%. Yeah, I'm a big body language guy. I use the term all the time, body language PhD. St. Mary's just eye test looked like a completely different team energy wise than I had seen the last 3-4 games. And yes, I think you're right. I think as the game went on and the shots went down, it got better and better. But I honestly, from the tip, I thought they were ready for this game. They were like excited to be in this game, which is not something you can say in some of their most recent losses. I thought they did a really good job defensively. It felt like they almost made Isaiah Stevens beat them himself offensively, which, look, he's a good enough player. He can do that. But Isaiah Stevens, to me, is at his most dangerous on the games where he has 10, 11 assists, right? And when he has those games, he usually chips in 15 to 20 points anyway. But that's where things unlock. And look, obviously, some of this was just missed shots, but Isaiah Stevens, 16 shots from the floor out of the 49 team attempts in this game. That's a lot of attempts. He's a guy who needs to take a lot of attempts, but to finish with only 3 assists to 6 turnovers. And down the stretch, you saw like when Colorado State had chances to tie the game, it was kind of like Isaiah Stevens is going 1-on-5, taking some tough ones that, would have been miracle shots if they went in. So coming into this, I think a lot of people would have said Colorado State's the best mid-major team in the country this year. This is their first loss of the season. They're undermanned. We know that. Do you feel that they are the best mid-major?
How are we defining mid-major?
Not Gonzaga.
Okay,
not
then
St.
no.
Mary's.
So FAU is the American a mid-major at this point?
Let's eliminate
no?
FAU would take it too. So let's eliminate FAU and Gonzaga and St. Mary's.
Okay.
Like James Madison, Colorado State. Like
I think Colorado State's better than James Madison.
Okay.
I am weighing what we've seen since the St. Mary's loss for New Mexico versus Colorado State right now. Because I think coming into this game, you would say St. Mary's, Santa Clara look about the same. New Mexico ran over Santa Clara. I'd still probably lean Colorado State just because I think point guard play is the most important. Point guard is the most important position in college basketball. And Isaiah Stevens is, I still believe, a top 3 to 5 point guard in college basketball. But New Mexico is so balanced, so not reliant on one player, to have a great offense. I think they could be the best mid-major. But if I'm picking one team to go deeper in March out of the non-FAU St. Mary's Gonzaga teams, it'd probably still be Colorado State for me.
Okay. Yeah, I like both those shouts. New Mexico looked great against Santa Clara, as you mentioned. Look, mid-major is a flexible term. I want to be honest with that. The Field of 68 mid-major guys we work with would be upset with me for counting Mountain West in this exercise. But yeah, that's really what I'm after. Like non-Power 5, who's the best team? And I think that nothing from this loss, like it makes me raise my eyebrows a little bit because I expected them to just roll in this game, given how bad St. Mary's has been. The difference is I don't feel as bad about it after watching it because to me, the story here was St. Mary's showed up. And St. Mary's did have promise in the preseason for good reason. And if guys are hitting shots, we know Randy Bennett can coach. This, to me, it's infuriating that St. Mary's isn't more consistent because I think if St. Mary's played the way they played in this game in all 10 of their games this season, I think they're 8-2 at worst right now. But they have to figure that out. They have to find a way to be more consistent, but it was good to see as we're turning the page to conference play that they still have that high ceiling. Maybe there is still hope. I mean, they're essentially going to have to win the West Coast Conference, right? At this point, you're not making the NCAA tournament with 5 out of conference losses.
No, I mean, if they win out and with their only loss being Gonzaga on the road, they could probably lose to Gonzaga in the tournament and still have a shot at a Dayton trip. It wouldn't be a great shot because I think the loss to Weber State specifically is going to weigh heavy on their resume. But that's really what they have to do. They have to only lose one more game to Gonzaga on the road before taking a loss to Gonzaga in the WCC tournament. Outside of that, you're right. They have to win in Vegas to make the tournament, which is unfortunate because
it is.
They could realistically finish the season with, two more losses in the regular season and a loss to Gonzaga in the tournament, not make it. But you're looking at them going, at this point, are they one of the top, 32 non-auto bid, 36 non-auto bids in the country? Maybe.
Right.
But you can't lose that game to Weber State and still make the tournament. You can't lose that game to Boise State at this point and still make the tournament. So, I don't know. You're looking at they have some good wins. I think the Colorado State win ages well. I think the New Mexico win ages well. So maybe those wins and maybe a win over Gonzaga gets them in. But short of that, I don't think we're going to see St. Mary's in the tournament because UNLV isn't good enough to be a good win for them. And then outside of that, it's just the Gonzaga, San Francisco, and maybe Santa Clara games left that provide any semblance or hope of being a quad 2 win that they need to get into the tournament.
Yeah, which is a shame because I think there's a really good chance Randy Bennett gets this team playing the way we thought they would play all season long by the end of the season. Like, it won't surprise me if from February on, this team is exactly who we thought they would be preseason, like a top 20 output in the country. But the resume is just shot. And for the record on this, Ken Pom has St. Mary's favored in all but 3 games left this season, the 2 against Gonzaga and then on the road at San Francisco. But the most likely projected record, 20-11, 11-5 in the West Coast Conference. That's not even bubbly given their non-conference at this point. So yeah, they're going to have to work some magic down the stretch in a West Coast Conference that I still believe there's at least the top 3 teams. If you put Santa Clara in there, I think there's 3 teams along with San Francisco that can cause St. Mary's some problems. They're going to have to be magical down the stretch. All right, that's Connor Hope from Heat Check CBB. I am GregWaddell from Sleepers Media. We're here to preview and recap every big game this college basketball season. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of them.